I began photographing women had such an impact on me. The women I chose were not rebellious, feisty, your word, but they were women who had a sense of themselves, and they had a sense of presence. So in them, I often saw myself reflected in their eyes, in their beings. And I can only say that that was, just a tremendous, tremendous path for me to go down. And I would like to read from a chapter that I call Essence. Through photographing women, I came to better understand myself and the essence of the feminine. I also had an incredible opportunity to go to Kosovo at the end of the war. Uh, and I was asked to photograph, and I was working with two colleagues, other photographers, and it was, for me, it was under the auspices of the United Nations. It was a tough time. On a rainy afternoon, I sat with a family in the remains of their house in a bombed out village near Pristina, Kosovo's capital. The children huddled close to the mother for warmth, perhaps for protection, and paid little attention to my camera, except for one staring 12-year-old boy who had beautiful dark eyes. Outside on a 40-foot clothesline, found clothes and objects were carefully hung for anyone looking for their loved one's belongings. My Kosovar guide, Sylvia, and I had brought some food and supplies, but there was little enthusiasm for this kind of help. After we drove away, an angry and frustrated Sylvia, both hands clenching the wheel, asked me what I specifically wished to achieve by taking and showing my photographs. Don't you understand the country's tragedy? What are these photographs for? She snapped. It was fair to ask. Intimidated, I answered that my intention was to show the resilient strength and the essence of the female. What do you mean, essence? Again, she snapped. We're just women. We do what we're meant to do. But what is that? I asked with a partial strength. I've been photographing Kosovar women who are now in administrative positions in place of the fighting men. Will they retreat once the men return? Are your colleagues surprised by their ability to make decisions, to govern while facing war's terrors, alone with their children? Sylvia peered over at me, her short, unruly hair covering one eye. Yes, sometimes they are surprised by their strength. Where do you think that strength comes from? I quickly went on. I think that women have a connection to the earth, different from men, and that they are empowered by that connection. I'm not denigrating men, but women take pride in their intuitive knowledge. I hope my images reveal their wisdom. I wanted to sound sure of my conviction in talking to Sylvia, but I wasn't. I had so many questions. I told Sylvia I had witnessed and photographed women bonding, such as the Roma, the gypsies in Kosovo's gypsy camps. Their heightened sense of community seemed to be a reaction to being left out, not belonging. Overly simple as a comparison may have been, I imagined our American old-timey sewing circles where women announce their hardships or dreams, subjects often silenced in male company. Do you see that in Kosovo, women coming together like that? I asked. I don't know. I don't know. What are you asking me? Do females eye one another, look one another in the eye more than men do? Does it all go back to the ability to give birth? What? Sylvia stammered, staring at me. Her tears had begun. I was raped, she said suddenly. Stunned by her candor, I whispered, I am so sorry. There's nothing else to say.